In this video, I am going to tell you about this new bike from Vanpowers. It's called the GrandTeton Pro for $18.99. It's a pretty special bike, but I'm going to give you all the details, the pros, the cons, and I'm going to take it out on a real trail. GrandTeton Pro from Vanpowers. They're a brand that's been improving every bike that I see from them. So constant improvement, and I like to see that. So they have two of these models. This is the Pro, which has a hub motor, $18.99, and they also have an Ultra, GrandTeton Ultra, for $25.99. And why that's more expensive is it has a mid-drive motor, a Bafang mid-drive motor. A mid-drive motor is more important if you're gonna do a lot of steep hills, things like streets of San Francisco or some real mountain biking. And the reason why a mid-drive motor can do those hills is because it goes through the drivetrain. So whatever gears that you are using, the motor can benefit. A hub motor, the motor cannot benefit from the gears because it's pretty much attached directly to the ground. So it can't generate more torque or climbing power. But let's talk about this bike. Really good option, $18.99 like I said. And what it has is a Class 2 e-bike, so 20 miles an hour and throttle. And it's a very refined bike. It has a 750 watt hub motor, a 700 watt hour battery, and that's good for about 65 miles if you put it on the lowest setting, eco mode, and you work out and you help out quite a bit. And on this bike you can help out quite a bit because it has a torque sensor. Torque sensor knows how much you're working, and it's going to give you that push proportional to how your effort is. The opposite is the cadence sensor, which is as soon as you spin the pedals, it's just going to go max out on the assist mode that you're on. So a few assist modes on this. And the highlights, what really stands out, you look at it like, wow, it's a fat bike, but it's kind of look like a mountain bike. And it is a hardtail with fat tires. So hardtail, low top tube here, good clearance, and very rigid right here. And 4.0-inch tires with metal fenders, a shock, a suspension that's actually moves pretty good. It's pretty compliant. A lot of the shocks in the commuter market, they don't work that good. But this is going to be a harsh ride on the rear. So if you are doing some rough road, just decrease your pressure. You can go as low as 8 psi, 10 psi on a tire like this. As long as you're not hitting the rim to the rocks or the curb, you're okay. Another thing that makes it unique is it's kind of got a mountain bike stance to it. So 760 bars on this with a nice mountain bike handlebar. A very short stem, like a 40 stem. So pretty darn cool. It's got a rack that can take a lot of weight. This says 25 kg, but I think I read like over 100 pounds. So you could really, I think the ideal application for this bike is, aside from commuting, of course, and touring the beaches and the city, is adventuring. You could go on a camping adventure, backpacking adventure, get out in the backcountry. So pretty cool, removable battery. Nice brakes. So the brakes are Tektro, which is kind of standard, very light action. But what they did is they put a big rotor on it. Since they're only single piston, dual piston brakes, they put a 200 millimeter rotor on the front and the rear. So that's pretty darn cool. Okay, so why don't I take you out for a test drive and show you how this thing is on the trail. Then we're going to talk about strengths and weaknesses and the bottom line for this bike. All right, so pretty much, what you're seeing is pretty darn good. We're going to talk about weaknesses and then the strengths and the bottom line. The weaknesses, and I think I take pride in this because I saw like 6 videos on this bike and none of them stated any weaknesses. It's as if they're scared of the manufacturer that they won't give me more bikes in the future to review. But this is E-MTB review. I'll give you some real weaknesses of this bike. And every bike has strengths and weaknesses, and the weaknesses help you decide if it's the right bike for you. So the first weakness is a big, heavy bike. I don't know, 65, close to 70 pounds. I can barely lift it. So even though it's aluminum, the weight just added up with a metal fender. So it's stable, but if you're going to lift it, you're to your vehicle, you better have a ramp because it's a big, sturdy machine. Second weakness is it's a one-size-fits-all bike. So I'm 5'7". They said this fits 5'4" to 6'4", and let me tell you, this is a big bike. I test a lot of bikes. This is one of the bigger ones. So I'm on the, I think on the lower range of what this can fit. And notice that I pushed my saddle all the way forward just so I can fit this properly. And this is with already a short stem. So it's a big bike. A 6-footer would be comfortable in this one. A 5'5" person, 5'5" lady, or short guy is gonna be in for it. It's too big. Another weakness I see is there is a little cubby here, what looks like a compartment that kind of rattles because it doesn't fit perfectly, and it has a tab that you look like you can open it, but your finger, oh, there you go. It's got a cover, but it's hard to open. So you could store some stuff here, maybe your keys or something that doesn't rattle too much. All right, so let's get to the bottom line. It's a fine machine. I took it on the trail and I could actually ride it smoothly on the trail. It braked real nice. I just took out some air pressure on the rear and it was fairly comfortable. It's Vanpowers. I'm pretty impressed. They have a really nice app that you can configure this guy with. You can track your rides as well. It has a nice headlight and taillights that are fully integrated in the stay. So this is just decorational. You're dependent on this. And I was even able to configure it such that every time I turn on the bike, the lights would turn on. So much safer. And then, so these are on. So the more you're visible to the cars, the safer you are. And then every time I hit the brake, the lights would flash. So there's a difference between the on lights and the braking lights. The computer display is awesome. This is very Shimano and Bosch style, where it's small. It's not a big thing in the middle. Because you don't need to be looking at that. It doesn't need to be that big. You just need some basic information like your range. And then very nice brakes. Like I said, suspension is good. It has a torque sensor, which is a plus. And then the final plus, I would say, advantage on this guy is that you can turn it to a class 3. As long as you go into the app, you check a few, acknowledge that what you're entering and your responsibility as a class 3 rider, you can turn this into a class 3. So there you go. I had fun with it, and I think the ideal rider is a big, heavy rider. Maybe middle-aged, maybe trying to get some exercise. You want to explore the city and the countryside.